I mean, lost identity is the greatest deception. We've been deceived into trying to think that we have to create our own identity by what we do, which is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. You can be like God. Well, how? Well, you can. You've got to do it. Whereas everything before that was a whole different perspective. And we need a restoration back to that original innocence that we are, not that we will become because of what we do. And the biggest deception obviously keeps people in lost identity, and therefore they don't know who they are. Therefore they do all sorts of things, which are not in alignment with who they are at all. And that's why the world is, as it is. But that deception has an agenda behind it, and that's the thing. It's not just a neutral deception. Well, we're all deceived, and actually there's an agenda behind that deception to keep people deceived, to keep people from their identity, so they will follow an I will agenda, which eventually, from the Luciferian agenda, we produce a counterfeit kingdom, which actually is based in worshipping Lucifer as God, as the God of I will, and all of the world is all the systems function that way. Now, I don't believe that will ever take place, because I believe in restoration. Therefore, I believe that God's original intention and purpose will be restored, and that agenda will come to a nothing ultimately, but it doesn't mean that it isn't in place and functioning. And therefore, we've got to be aware of the great deception that the world is operating in and bring about enlightenment. Enlightenment is an enlightenment to love, and that is an enlightenment to the true nature of God, which is unconditional love. And therefore you remove all the conditions and all the need to conform to certain behavioral norms or anything else. We're not under the 10 commandments, which is a system of laws. We're not under law, we're under grace. I think so many Christians think they should be obeying the 10 commandments. Now, I'm not saying that the commandments themselves or the sentiments behind them are wrong. Of course, we shouldn't kill anybody, but actually that we only need the one law. Well, it's not even a law. It's called the law of love, but the commandment is love one another as I've loved you. So be loved and love. Simple. You wouldn't have any need for any laws if everyone was operating in love. Because there is nothing bad in love. There is nothing harmful in love. You could obviously, we have our 1 Corinthians 13, which describes love, in a way. And there's nothing bad in there whatsoever. Love is good. Everything is positive in love. And that's the awakening that needs to take place, as people are then free from that deception, find their identity, know they're loved unconditionally, and then love unconditionally, irrespective of any individual difference. Because love is love. And you can't have a division in love. Well, I can love these people, I can't love them. Which is why so many people stuck in the religious systems struggle with restoration, because they don't think it's fair. They struggle with the whole hell concept and it being restorative in the fire of God, because, well, people deserve it. It's like that's man's idea of justice and judgment, and that's not based in love, and it isn't unconditional. Whereas the cross was an unconditional nailing every accusation against everybody and dealing with it, reconciling everyone, forgiving everybody, not based on what they've done, but based in God's love. God so loved the world, Jesus came. Why? To take away lost identity, so people could be free from deception and can be restored back to relationship, union, oneness in God and with each other, which then we can then do what we should have done in the first place and go and, inhabit the rest of the solar system and the rest of the galaxy and beyond, because there's no end to the increase of his government and peace. But we're not going out there to conquer through war and to put our flag of whatever country or even the world onto the next planet or the next moon or whatever. We're going to spread peace. because that's what was going to increase peace. Hi, everyone. We're starting a Patreon page, patreon.com/freedomarc. And we would like to invite you to partner with us in taking the message of God's unconditional love, limitless grace, triumphant mercy to a bigger global audience.